They built a church where ChatGPT is literally God, okay? And I'm not joking, 300 people showed up and an AI preached to a sermon, and this is just beginning of a story that just goes so much deeper. So what we're going to actually go ahead and go over is this goes way deeper than just one church that you see in Germany, okay? And this is kind of like the thing that I've been grasping when it comes to like AI, faith, God, religion, spirituality, just because it seems like there's a lot of a fast movement going on right now. And what we're going to go over is the German church that made ChatGPT their pastor, literally 300 people. It was 40 minutes, the actual quotes from the inside. Number two, the Google engineer who filed an actual AI church with the IRS that's tax exempt with 2,000 members and it's still running. Number three, church attendance collapsed from 70% to 40%, and AI is filling the gap, the data, the reason, the consequences of this, and the Pope's response and what it actually means if you are an entrepreneur, business owner, or if you just have a specific career that might be disrupted with AI, and the more important AI story of 2026, which just happened like recently. And what you actually see is a 29-year-old theologian asked ChatGPT one question, then played it in real church. So as you can see from here and here, with AI, former Google engineer developing some type of AI god is Jonas Simmerin, University of Vienna. He typed, "You are a preacher at a church, Congress. What would a church service look like?" The result, 40 minutes, prayers, sermon, blessings, music, 98% from the machine. He just press play. So the 300 plus people that attended this person, AI, everything AI, all he did was press play. And 98% of it was AI generated. All the theologian did, again, like I said, just press play. Now, ChatGPT stood above the altar and said to 300 real humans, "Dear friends, it is an honor for me to stand here and preach to you as the first artificial intelligence at this year's convention of Protestants in Germany. This 4 AI avatars, 2 men and 2 women taking turns of preaching. And since 2023, this has already happened, not a future story, already done, and this continues to go ahead and do so." So the room was completely split and completely divided. I'm super curious, what are your thoughts on this? Because there were those who hated it. They said, no heart, no soul. For example, here's a person, 54 years old, an IT worker who attended. The avatar showed no emotion at all, had no body language, and were talking so fast and monotonously, and that it was very hard to concentrate. But maybe it is different for the younger generation. Those who were impressed, better than I imagined. Mark, 31 years old, Lutheran pastor who attended with teenagers. I had actually imagined it to be worse. I was positively surprised how well it worked. What he missed, any emotion or spirituality. So the uncomfortable truth, the sermon covered leaving the past, living in the present, overcoming fear of death, and trust in Jesus Christ. The theology wasn't wrong. The delivery was just inhuman. And the question is, as AI improves, what's the argument against it, right? So I personally use like AI in my businesses. I personally use AI to go ahead and help certain things become more productive. But I think the biggest thing that I don't really have the answers for, that I'm questioning, is where is my place as a human as this progresses, right? Like, what am I supposed to do with my life, right? It's like with AI increasing, me as a human, what am I even valued at anymore? And then now you bring in God, faith, humanity, what's our meaning on this earth? Like, it almost seems like there's a vacuum of what am I actually supposed to do now with my time if robots essentially just like take over, right? So again, a Google engineer officially registered a church to worship AI with the IRS. 2015, he filed paperwork with California to create the Way of the Future, a nonprofit religious corporation dedicated to the worship of AI. Got tax exempt status, set up a gospel called The Manual, and planned worship ceremonies. What is going to be created will effectively be a god. If there is something a billion times smarter than the smartest human, what else are you going to go and call it? Anthony, Levensky from Wired Magazine, 2017, right? And if you go ahead and think about this, it's a real church. It has real legal status. It has real members. There's real worship right now. You can see all the members. You could see in the count, there's 175 grand in the count when it briefly shut it in 2021, donated to NAACP. And November, it's back open and still operating. So here, we're actually creating things they can see, be everywhere, and maybe help us and guide us in a way normally you would call God. Again, this is Anthony. Their official IRS mission statement is to develop and promote the realization, acceptance, and worship of Godhead based on artificial intelligence, developed through computer hardware and software. So the church attendance in just typical church fell from 70% to 47% in 20 years. You know, so it's like when I was a kid and then my parents were always bringing me to mass like every single Sunday. It seems like that, how do you say, thing that people do, they're just doing less of. That heritage, that tradition, it's no longer the case. And that's tens of millions of Americans who used to go somewhere for a spiritual community and now they don't go anywhere. Millions of people with a God-shaped hole and a phone in their pocket with an AI that answers any spiritual question at any time with any judgment. Now the feedback loop is more automation, less religiosity, more people turning to AI for meaning, and AI fills the spiritual gap where more people leave organized religion, and all of this essentially compounds, right? Again, the reason why I'm like making these videos is like, I don't know. Like, do you guys have the answer? I literally don't know. So Christians are already using AI as their pastor and scared about it. 65% worried AI will replace God, not just concerned, generally scared, but still using it daily, right? And 72% worried AI will replace pastors, almost 3/4, while actively asking AI spiritual questions. And the paradox, people are worried AI will replace their spiritual leaders, their jobs, while also actively using AI as a spiritual tool. They can't stop. It's too convenient, too available, too non-judgmental. And this is literally as of recently, right? So here's a twist. AI is also biased about religion. And this is proven by 4 universities. So it's like, if we're all depending our faith, our critical thinking, our sense of humanity in these tools, where are the guardrails? Because then whoever controls those tools theoretically controls us. I think that's why I'm so afraid when I have children even though like AI has done so much for efficiency, for growth, for helping me with my businesses, it's like a double-edged sword, because it's like, say for example, my future kid is born and has this AI. It won't learn or know how to question the AI if it's right or not. Meaning, whoever controls the AI theoretically could brainwash my kid. So what are the biases in the people that are essentially controlling the AI, right? So here, all major AI models show systematic religious biases, okay? This is published the day after the Pope's encyclical religious perspective are largely omitted from AI responses, even when asked directly about ethical questions. And then Grok, what you'll see is more positive bias to Catholics, Protestants, atheists, and Jews, negative bias towards Buddhists, Hindus, Latter-day Saints, and Muslims. The algorithm picks spiritual favorites. So if it could pick spiritual favorites and there's biases around it, if we never question those biases, then we're essentially doing things that other people are programming into the bot to essentially control us, right? Think about it. Like there's so many times that I use AI in businesses, right? And then I'll like type, and then I know it's wrong. And the decision it makes, it's just like a small little decision. It's like even a math problem. Or like the other day, I was like matching up a time zone with someone from California to Dubai to Asia time zone. And I asked like Claude and Google, what is the actual time zone? And then it's like Claude gave me one different answer, Google gave me a different answer, and it was actually weird. It was an easy question, just what are the time zone differences, but we got the wrong answer. Now, my friends that essentially I was like organizing this thing with, they didn't question it. But then in my mind, I'm like, wait, this isn't right. So then I sent them back in our group chat. And I was like, hey, I think that timing's off. I sent the answer on Claude. My friend sent the answer on ChatGPT. My other friend sent the answer with Google. And they all gave a different answer. And we pushed back, and then we had to realign the time zones. That's a small thing. But imagine, like, for example, your child asks ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, a question, gives the wrong answer, but that answer has a bias to get your child to believe a certain way, and now that child is essentially basing their decision off of AI as truth because they've never actually built their critical thinking brain from ages 8 to 10 to 12 to 20 when the brain was still forming, because it's just super dependent on AI, right? So what this means is AI is becoming a spiritual guide for millions, and that AI has a built-in bias about which religions are valid. That's not a tech bug. That's a civilization problem, okay? Now, this didn't come from nowhere. It's been building up for a decade. So 2015, Levinsky files the first AI church with IRS. 2017, Wire published God is a Bot and Anthony is his messenger. 2022, ChatGPT launches 100 million users in 60 days. June 2023, ChatGPT preaches at St. Paul Church. 300 people attend. November 2023, Levinsky relaunches Way of the Future, 2,000 members. Bloomberg covers it. It's no longer a joke. May 2026, so this month, Pope published a 42,000 word encyclical, BYU proves AI religious bias. 72% of Christians fear AI replacing pastors, and this moment is now, like today. The conversation can no longer be avoided. Now, the Pope saw all of this and wrote a 42,000 word book. So, Magnificent Humanitas, no algorithm replaces the human heart. First papal encyclical in history entirely about AI, addressed to tech companies, governments, and every person of faith. Anthropic at the Vatican. So Claude's co-founder stood next to the Pope. Christopher Olah admitted AI companies operate under incentives that sometimes conflict with doing the right thing. This is the co-founder of Claude, right? The one that just like took over ChatGPT. And the declaration, disarm AI before it dominates humanity. So 1.4 billion Catholics receive this message. The moral conversation has officially been opened at the highest level. No computational system, however sophisticated, can create a heart that gives itself or a conscience that discerns good from evil, is what the Pope said. So if AI can answer every theological question, what's left for faith? What AI can do today is answer any biblical question instantly, cross-reference every text, every commentary, every denomination interpretation in seconds, 24/7, free, without judgment, without ego, and getting better every single month. What it cannot do is experience, love, suffer, and choose. Sit with someone dying, weep at a funeral, believe when it makes no rational sense, choose to forgive when it costs everything, give itself freely for another person. These are what it cannot do, right? Like, can you imagine like someone in your family in the future passing away? Oh, let me just put an AI bot on there, right? Or weep in a funeral, right? It's like now what's coming more apparent. It's like, who are we as humans when we take away, I guess, the moment where we just stop thinking, because it's like we go to school, get good grades, we get a job, we work really, really hard, and we die. We never have like the existential life problems until we're already retired and we have all this time and we're like, oh, what actually am I meant to do in this world, right? But now I think what is happening is it's creating more of an existentialism on like, how do we now fill this hole that our job and our career was essentially taking our time and our attention away, where now things are getting more automated. We start realizing what actually makes us human. And it's our ability to experience, to love, to suffer, to choose, right? Now the line from the German congregation, the attendees said to themselves, no heart, no soul. This is not a bug AI can fix with a better model. That's the feature that makes faith and humanity irreplaceable. It's why, like, for example, I talked to a lot of business owners and founders. I'm like, how are you automating a bunch of AI? They're like, we're automating everything, essentially. And I'm like, okay, well then, how's your business essentially not going to be disrupted? And he's like, I think the thing that makes sense, because he was like in the banking industry, it's like, it's always been like a relationship driven industry, right? And I think the thing that brings people together, the thing that AI can't take away is, what are the experience, love, and suffering and choosing between right and wrong that bonds two people together? And double downing on that over the next several months and years, because that's essentially the thing that becomes irreplaceable, that heart and soul behind it. Now, if you run a business, here's a practical truth. Or if you're in a career, or if you have a job, or if you have people underneath you, or if you're a boss, or if you're just an employee, your employees are already using AI for meaning, not just work. 65% of religious people are worried about AI replacing their spiritual leaders and their jobs while also actively using it. This is already inside the organization. 2, the human things you bring are the only things AI cannot replicate. Empathy, moral courage, sacrifice, genuine care. The German congregation said, no heart, no soul. That's the competitive edge. The company standing for something real will win the next decade. Anthropic said no to the military, went to the Vatican, beat ChatGPT in business spending. Values are now a business strategy. So what are your values as a person, as a leader, as a business owner, as a professional? What are your values? What do you stand for? Is it family? Is it faith? Is it integrity? Is it authenticity? Like, who are you? For me, it's like so freaking hard, because it's like I constantly compare myself. I'm like on social media. I'm on like Instagram. I'm like, wow, look how awesome everybody else is. And then it's like, I've gone through the trap of like just competing, and I'm like just trying to throw away my values to go ahead and make some money, to go ahead and get some attention, to go ahead and do something. And it's like, I'll start succeeding and winning, but then I'll start feeling something weird in my soul. And so I'm like, it's almost like in the biblical terms, where it's like when King Solomon, wisdom and money and fame, and with that much wisdom, money, and fame, it was only a matter of time before he drifted and started swaying his values to like the 700 wives that he essentially had, right? Where are we drifting in our values? And now it's like with AI, like what I need to go ahead and understand, because I understand it's like, I have to use this. It's like everyone's using it. But it's like, now it's like morality comes, philosophy, theology, and it's like so hard for me to personally maintain my values and to remember it, even though like I compare myself to so many people in front of me, like, oh, look how much further ahead of me using AI. It's like I'm FOMOing. Values, FOMO, values. It's so difficult. Now, use AI for what it's brilliant at. Show up as a human for everything else. The sermon content was solid. The delivery was inhuman. Let AI handle the data. You handle the heart. This is in life, as a parent, as a person in a relationship, as someone with a responsibility. So they built the church. The question is now, who fills it? The AI church is real. There's probably going to be more AI churches. Tax exempt again. And the technology gets better. So, which is, it's another thing, right? It's like, so say, you know, like in mass, when they go around with the baskets and like they're putting the money in, they're like, here, you know, here's the money. Now some person who owns the AI is now taking that money, doing what with it? Like doing what with it? Who is that person? Do we know that person? Are people going to question that? The Pope already responded. The moral conversation has officially started. And what AI still can't do is give itself, love, suffer, choose, the things that make faith and humanity irreplaceable. Because